Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live from Dallas Trading Floor. A little bit of a late start. It's about 15 minutes too late. Sorry about that. Oh, goodness gracious. Trying to get everything all done. I was working on a kind of an interesting play on Palantir. I kind of want to share it with you after the slides. Just kind of give you an idea of kind of interesting way to play it in the way I'm going to be playing it. But first and foremost, let's kind of get an idea of where we are going today with the market. The market snapped back a little bit. It's definitely it's still in this confirmed uptrend, which is great. I mean, it's moved up a little bit. It's still a confirmed uptrend, so it's the S&P is looking good. Dow Jones is above 30,000, pretty all over pretty good. There's going to be obviously with this election going on in North Carolina, this is going to a lot of things are going to happen with this. So we just don't know kind of how it's going to go, but it's the kind of thing where who knows who really knows what's going to happen when it comes to this. So it just seems like there seems to be more and more intrigue. I think that's the really the term to use. Looks like they found Jack Ma. When I was a little bit concerned about that, he might have gone missing. Just don't know what's going on hardly sometimes in a lot of these things. So I'm glad to see that that's indeed the good news anyways there. So we are in a confirmed uptrend. I just want to kind of show you the fact that we have retaken the 10-day, we've retaken the 10-day line. That's really key here because that means that it tested the 21-day, and then boom, it tested it, and today it's pulled up to the 10-day line. So that is bullish. NASDAQ Composite is at 12,816.95. The reason that I spend so much time on the direction is that we typically want to be in sync with everything. We want to be buying on the uptick on the individual stock issue that we're looking at. We also like to be doing that with the overall market. So it's best to be buying an uptrend, buying on a stock uptrend, kind of getting everything in sync. So that's why I spend a lot of time on this, but it's a nice pull up there, which is looking really good. Also wanted to show you the chart for the S&P 500. We also have a bounce off of the 21-day line, and I kind of want to show you that as well. It's nice to see it when it reacts like this. It pulled way down, tested the 21-day, and now it's above the 10-day. So this is very, very bullish. Just as I indicated, I did add a little bit to my Tesla position, not a lot, but I did add a little bit to my Tesla position. It wasn't my main buy, but you want to be buying them as it goes up. The next major, I believe, resistance point for Tesla is going to be right about 742 to 746, I'm thinking. I did purchase a little bit, just rounded out an account that I had, and it's moved up quite nicely. So that hopefully will move past that that's 742 to 46 mark. I think if we do, it's going to look pretty good going forward. Currently, Tesla is selling at $735.71. It's up a little bit, up about $5.94. Also, I did add to the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. There was a report out. People are going crazy for Bitcoin, and this is a good way to hold it. The GBTC, it's at 39.10, up about $4.02 today. About 11% change, which is significant. I've been adding to this position as well. Progeny's down a little bit, but Blink charging is up once again. So I'm pretty confident on that as well. And the most important thing, and what really we started out the program, and that is the rebound on Apple. Apple did flash a sell signal yesterday. There's just no doubt about it. But today, that's Tuesday, the 5th of January, it looks as if it's moving back up. Now, the buy point on Apple, it's well below the buy point of 137. Just want to indicate that there. I do believe that the technicals for Apple look very, very good. Now, the question is, how will it continue to move the direction that I think it's going to move in? I think it will, but you never know. It's up about 1.2% today, so that's pretty great. Again, I'm just trying to find the right stocks to buy at the right time, and it's been a little bit difficult because of the thing where just finding the right stuff to buy. Now, I did have a question from Norman. Thank you very much, Norman, for for putting this out there. We do have the stock that I've been in and out of. I've been moved in and out of several times is Palantir, and it is an IPO. Typically, you want to buy an IPO after it's been out for about 3 months. Sometimes you can buy a little bit earlier, but a lot of times you can't. We did just have a reversal. This is when you don't have a base like a cup with handle, cup, those kind of bases, you can buy on a reversal, and this is definitely a reversal. What we've had a pullback. I'm going to show you the weekly chart here so you can kind of see. It pulled back to basically right about, and on the weekly chart there is the 40-day line. Pulled back to that, and it bounced, and hopefully it's going to move higher now. It looks like it's in a range of about 32 on the low and of about 24. So I do think that it is buyable at this level. Now, I'm showing you the daily chart and the weekly chart, but on the daily chart, we are still below that 21-day line. So I'm going to give you kind of a plan that I'm going to be using to buy this, and I'm going to do this sort of automatically because I can't, unfortunately, watch the screen all day. I'm unfortunately doing other things, so I like to do these automatically. And what I'm going to show you here is my plan to buy this with a buy stop limit order. And that basically what that does is that as the stock goes up, it activates your buy, and then once it reaches a certain your certain ask price, then it will buy it. So here's how it works. Basically, you set the buy stop limit order to buy Palantir, and I'm gonna try to buy this at $25.10 per share, slightly below that right now, trading at about 24. So I'm gonna be doing that probably this afternoon. I'm gonna set the action to buy, and then I'm going to set the stop on this. Now, oddly enough, normally when you do a stop loss, you're going to have a sell and a stop, but I want to buy it as it's moving higher, so I'm going to set that action to buy. The stop loss I'm going to set to 25, and then I'm going to set the limit, or what I'm going to offer to buy this at $25.10. And you say, well, why, Jim, would you offer, why would you offer to buy it at a higher price? Why wouldn't you want a lower price? Well, you want to buy a stock as it's moving to a higher high, and this should capture it. Most of the people will try to buy it, programmatic traders, at about 25. But if you get 25.10, you'll probably get filled on strong volume. Then I'm only going to purchase 1/2 of a position. Now, what is a position? Well, if you to know how much to go into each stock, what you do is you take the value of your portfolio and you divide it by 8, and those are 8 full positions. You typically don't want to trade any more than about 8 full positions at any one time because it's very difficult to keep track of all that information. So, with this, I don't want to buy a full position. I want to buy 1/2 of a position, and so I can get the same value by dividing it by 16. Now, this is going to give me a number, and then this is going to indicate the number of shares that I want to buy. So when I figure out the number of shares, then I'm going to set that action to buy. I'm going to set that stop to 25 and set the limit to 25.10. Remember, this is a buy stop limit order. Now, once I get filled, and hopefully I get filled on this one, because I'm going to do this good till cancel. Hopefully when I get filled on this one, then and only then am I going to set the stop loss. After I'm successfully buy the stock, I'm going to set that stop loss at 22.66. And then how did I come out with that number? Well, that happens to be below a consolidation range by looking at the chart. I'm going to set that action to sell, and then I'm going to set the activation to a market stop at 22.66. So if it falls below, if it touches that 22.66 or falls below it, then it will sell me out. And that way I protect my capital. So hopefully I'm going to make a chart school about this one, and a little bit later. That should be available on the website. And of course, that is super easy to get. That is on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/DallasTradingFloor. And I'd really appreciate it, of course, if you would consider subscribing to my channel. That would be great. Here we go. There's the subscribe button. Thank you very much. But hopefully now we'll get into some of the other stuff. I think I had one more thing. Let's see. I guess not. I guess we're get ready to go on that. So let's go to the questions. And thanks for holding out here. I'm going to go over and we're going to go get some questions. All right. And there we go. All right. Thanks for bearing with me. All right. So the first questions come from YouTube. So, hey, thank you. Blank and Palantir buy points, please. Thank you. With Palantir, again, as I indicated on my slide there, I want to be buying Palantir to right about 25. I want to buy it as it's moving higher. So hopefully I'll have a chart school on that later on. I'm gonna try to put it together as best my technical capabilities are to put it together for everyone out there. But I do think that Palantir, on increasing volume, I think that at a 25.10 level is going to be a good place to buy Palantir. So let's go to the live chart on Palantir and just kind of show you sort of what I mean by that. Okay, great. Here we are on Palantir, and I'm going to go first to the weekly chart. Always try to start with the weekly chart because that's going to show us the trend. And of course, as we all know, we have a very nice trend on Palantir. It's definitely an upward trend. It is corrected to the 24-day line. Now, I'm going to click over to the daily chart to kind of give us the strategy here. I want to buy it basically right at this green line here. This is the 21-day exponential, okay? So this little green line. But as you can see, it's pushing higher, but yet it hasn't reached that. I want to see it close above this line before I buy it. So that's kind of where I want to buy it. So let's look at the 60-minute chart. That kind of tells us what's happening. Now, it's been as high, it's been as high as 29s, but we want to make sure always that it is an upward trend, and it definitely is here. So where do we want to buy it? We want to buy it, I believe, right about here at the $25.10 mark. Why 10 cents more? Because the traditional buy point would be about 25, and if we add 10 cents, we're going to probably get a good fill on that. So that is sort of my game plan for Palantir. And of course, what I'm going to do with that, of course, is I am going to do a buy stop limit order, so I don't have to hang around and look at the screen all the time. If it goes above 25, I'm then going to offer to buy it at 25.10. So probably we'll get a fill on that at that level. Let's look at Blank, BLNK, and of course I've been trading this one since the summer. We started. This was an under $10 stock, if you could believe it. It's just done great. It's pulled up now. What it did is it did a bounce off of that very, very important 21-day line. Again, I'm going to show you the chart here to see exactly. You see here is where it bounced. There we go. Let's get that line in there. Okay, you can see I'm drawing a little arrow. You see how it has that green line, and then it bounced off, and then it's pulled higher, and currently it's at 40.59. Now the question is, where would you want to buy that? Well, truly, the best place to buy it, of course, would be at that 21-day line. I never reached that, but I do believe that where we can buy it is at right at the 10-day line, and we're very close to that right now. That 10-day line is right about 41.75. So here's what we can do on this. If we could do a buy stop limit order to buy it at about 41.25. I think that's going to be a good level, and then hopefully if it moves past that resistance, then you see it has the room to go higher. So let's look at that 60-minute chart to see. Yeah, okay. So it's kind of coming a little, it's hanging out right here at that $40 level. I do believe, I don't want to buy it because it's pulling back a little bit. I want to buy it as it's moving higher. That's my key. So I think that there's a little bit of resistance right here, and wherever about that is, that's going to be a good place to buy it at about 41.25. So that's sort of, it's not an official buy point now. It's not an official buy point because it's not a cup with handle. It's not a cup. It's not a base pattern. This is basically buying it as it bounces off that 21-day exponential. That's a great question. Thank you so much for putting that out there. All right. Did EXPI reverse? Good question. This, of course, is Exit Realty, I believe, the old Exit Realty. EXPI. Let's take a look to see if it, well, you know, it sort of did. I think it did. I think there was a reversal on it. Let me see if I can look at that. Yeah. When you see it move kind of like this, where you have, where you have this down arrow and then immediately you have the up arrow, that kind of, shows somewhat of a reversal. Now, why did it reverse at 60? That is odd. It's not really buyable right now because, actually, it's actionable. That's really okay. I understand why it did this. Okay, basically, we're right in the buy zone for this. Isn't that interesting? Yes, it did reverse, and we're in a buy zone, and the pivot is 62.50. So let me put that out there on the chat. And by the way, so EXPI buy point is equal to, and let's get that, 62.50. And what is that? That's a, okay, that is a stage 2 cup. Okay. Okay. So is 62.50. And that's a stage 2 cup without handle base. All right. So let's put that out there to everybody. And that is where, now, would I buy it? I put out the, here I did. I got very excited. I put out all that stuff, and let's see if it's still buyable. I'm pretty sure it is. So we've got a really nice relative strength at 99. Very good. Let's look at the smell test. It's smelling pretty good. 7 out of 9. So that's pretty good. Also, excellent. We're right at the great fund ownership, 19%. Typically, a stock moves up most between about 20% fund ownership, about 65% fund ownership. So we're right in there with that. So that's looking very good. Let's look at the industry. Industry is 46 out of 197. So that's very good. So basically, this is all lining up. So the buy point on EXPI. Now, I'm not necessarily recommending this to everybody because I haven't really studied the charts. I don't own this one currently, but it's just looking pretty good. It does look like a reversal. This is sort of how it works. There's a cup, and then this isn't a true handle. Normally, it would pull back. It would pull back below 60, but on this one, there's a lot of excitement on this one. So I think that you could safely buy this if it goes above 62.50. So that is a great question, T Biggie 6. Appreciate that. Let's see if I can take a something from. Let's take the. Okay, here we go. Okay. This is Hakimi 300. This is off of TikTok. Hello, can you say what you think about this company QS? This is QuantumScape. I know a little bit about this. This has been an unbelievable company. It's QS is the symbol on it. So let's take a look at this really quickly. We're going to start out with the weekly chart first. There we go. All right, and you can see that it has been just tremendous. Now, typically this is a little bit early to buy this one, but we want to really buy it in about 3 months. But it seems as if we have really a place to buy it. Now, really, it doesn't really form a true base here, but it would be right at about here. This is where it broke out. So the question is there a place that we could buy QuantumScape, and would we want to buy it if we did? It looks as if it's bouncing right off this interesting this line here, the 40-day line. As you can see, we do have a 40-day line because it has been around for more than 40 days. This is an IPO. So this is one of the more difficult things when you're talking about an IPO. Now, where can we buy this? Well, here's the thing. Here's what I would like to see before I bought this. You could possibly buy this. It's rebounded off the 40-day line. What I would like to see is I would like to see potentially it move up to about here, about looks like about 75 before I bought it. Now that'll be a little bit aggressive. I mean, you could buy it at this point, but you would have to set your stop loss very tight, and you would set, if you bought it at this point, you would have to set your stop loss at 44. These are very, very volatile. So here, that's one thing that I will tell you. These are very, very volatile, but it seems like, there's a lot of interest in this one. Just a lot of interest in this one. So kind of let's see why there's interest. Well, it's only 2 out of it's only 55%, so it doesn't pass the smell test, unfortunately. And we have 30 funds in it, which is good, but let's look at that fund ownership. All right, I'm going to kind of look through the fund ownership to see what we've got in terms of that. Well, it's kind of looking to me, this Putnam seems to be in it in a big time way, but I don't know Putnam funds all that well, so I can't really give you a feed on it. Here's the thing, and this is always tough. I want to see this. I want to see this settle down a little bit more and form a base pattern. It's not really buyable the way it is. I know it's very tempting because there is some good action on it, but I wouldn't buy this until I was able to until it went above about this line here, which is about 75.50. Currently, it's at 59.40. So here's the thing. I think you're going to have to watch this one. This is a great question, by the way. But on QS, this QuantumScape, I think you want to wait on this one. I think you want to wait because it even though it's pulled up, let's see if it bases between here. Let's see if we get a base pattern first. I think you want to watch this one. Not a real clear buy signal on this one. Very good stock though, and you could do a lot worse. Okay, so let's take another one from TikTok. Can you say forecast about GHIV stocks? I don't know GHIV, but let's look at the symbol GHIV and see if there's anything. Gore's holding. Interesting. This is sort of a penny stock. It's $12. So it does have some support here. Let's kind of look at it. I'm going to look at the, this is a blank check company. You know what? I just don't really like the blank check companies. Yeah, there just isn't enough here. There's just not really enough to go on here. So I can't really give you a opinion on this one. I typically don't like blank check companies. Here's what a blank check company is. Basically a pool, and then they go and they find a stock to buy or thereabouts. So I can't really recommend this one either way. Neither buy nor sell. I don't know. Blank check companies, I just don't have enough information. So I appreciate the thing. I wouldn't buy this one until they actually bought something. Let's look on Nio. Jim, thoughts on selling Nio before Nio Day on 110? Thanks. Great. Okay. Yeah, Nio has been a tremendous, out of the Chinese EV stocks, I think this is really the class act of them all. It's up today again. It's just been on fire. But here's the thing. I think you're wise to think about possibly selling before earnings, because earnings are coming up on the stock. On the EPS is 318. So here's the thing about Chinese stocks. Chinese stocks are going to have to comply with generally accepted accounting principles, and that's going to be difficult. I don't know much about Nio Day, but I anytime you have, I'm a little bit nervous now. It depends on how well you've done in the stock. I think you might want to sell at least half your position if you're up on this one before the Nio Day. It still has an excellent checklist, basically 8 out of 9. The ownership is good. We have some strong owners here. We have 577 funds in this, which is really excellent at 21% of the total float. So that is a very good thing when it comes to the funds. So here's the thing: I would sell half before Nio Day, and I would hold the rest, but I wouldn't hold it through earnings on 3/18. So on 3/18, you probably want to be selling, especially if you have a little bit of profit, because the Chinese, with the change in the accounting rules, I mean, who knows what's going to happen to the stock. So I'm a little bit, just this is my personal take on it. But I don't like to hold through earnings typically on stocks like this. They're just too volatile. Okay, let's look at Apple. Thank you, Isen. Thank you for. As you all know, I hold Apple, and I have been increasing my position in Apple. We did have a reversal, and so let's take a look at the weekly chart first to kind of, look at things. Tremendous number of funds owns this. This, I think, is the largest holding of Berkshire Hathaway currently, and it has gone up. It's off a little bit, 131.01. Off about 168 off of its high today, but we are a little bit below this very key third stage cup without handle at 137.98. That is the actual buy point. But as you well know, with Apple, because it's such a widely traded stock, I do believe it has reversed. I'm hoping there's a sort of a cup, and then it isn't really a handle here. It isn't really a handle. But this is the cup with handle form that it typically will take. It'll cup out like that, and then it will pull back. So I do think that we could see a very nice run on this. I would be definitely a buyer of more if it moves above 137. Currently, I have 3 full positions in one of my portfolio. That's typically the largest I have in any portfolio at a time. But I'm relatively bullish on Apple as it stands. The relative strength is 81. 80 is my minimum. But remember, this is a monster stock in terms of its size. And as you can see, it has a ton of funds in it. 5,648 funds. And that is basically pretty stable. The checklist is still very good, 7 out of 9. And considering this is a mega cap, I do think that is good. Now, would I buy it at this late? No. I think we have to wait until it moves above the 10-day average at about 132 if you want to start building a position. Now, you don't really want to start buying it until it's past 137.98. That's the actual buy point. So I think you probably could start nibbling a little bit if you want to build a position at about 132, 132.50. That's kind of where I would be buying it. I've been buying this since about 118 in that level. I do think it's showing that it has reversed off the 21-day line. Hopefully that will mean that it will move higher. I suspect, and I'm going to look here to see just to get an idea. What I'm doing here is I'm drawing some trend lines that kind of show the channel that I think it might be in currently. So I do think it could move significant. I think it could move up to about 141, 142 before reversing lower. So I do think that there's at least $10 upside if we continue with the trend. And I think it has reversed, hopefully, higher. So at least that's my thoughts on it. Now, of course, it can reverse lower, and then I'm all washed up. But that's what it's looking like. Also, Parts looks interesting. What do you think? Well, I like Parts.com. This is a website. It's been around for a while, but the thing about Parts is we're coming, unfortunately, not everybody is going to share in. I do think that, once it's decided on who's going to be the president and all that, I think that there's going to be, I think there's going to be a kind of a relief rally. I'm hoping anyways. But I do think there's a lot of people that are suffering from this lockdown. A lot of people don't have jobs. And during those times, typically, interestingly enough, auto parts stores do very, very well when people don't have jobs in recessions because they repair their own cars. And Parts.com, at least I'm told, they just have just about every part that you can imagine. So, and that's not technical. That's just kind of fundamental analysis. I do like auto parts companies. Copart is another one of my favorites as well. So here we go. It's at $13.25, which is a little bit cheap, but the relative strength is excellent at 98. The question is, where can we buy this thing? So let's look at Let's look at the weekly chart. It looks like it's just kind of hugging. There's the first stage cup with handle at 1490. So we're a little bit, we really kind of want it to move to that cup with handle at 1490. We really do. So I'm just going to put the PRTS buy point on this one as equal to 14. Oops, 14. Is it 1425? I believe it is. Okay, yeah, 1490. 1490. Buy point is right at 1490. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's best to buy it as it moves above that buy point. So that is the buy point, and it's a cup with handle. Stage 1. And that is one of the very best. That's one of the very, very best buying patterns that you can have. So, but would I buy it at 1325? Probably not. And the reason is I think I want to see it move higher. I want to see it move above 1490. If it moves above 1490, PRTS may be an excellent buy because it has some very nice fundamentals. It's got nicely increasing sales, which we love to see. It also has 99% of the people that own this are funds. So I don't think there are going to be people jumping out of this. I think this has some legs. There's 212 funds that are in it. So it's pretty good when it comes to that. Checklist is 77. And the industry, the only concern here is that out of the sectors, auto parts is 188, which is one of the lowest. Now, normally, I wouldn't buy anything that low, but I do think that this is a particularly good stock. So that's my opinion of it. I want to see it move above 1490 in order, for it to be buyable. I'm not going to buy it now. I'm going to watch this. But thank you very much for the question. Great question. Jim, I think I missed the rest of I think you missed the rest of my question yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry. I was also looking at AZRE. I probably did. Sometimes I get going and I don't remember. I don't remember what I've done. So thank you for keeping me honest there. Interesting. I don't know this stock. It's an India-based provider that owns. Oh, okay. Well, this is a good one, Kay. I'm very interested. Interesting. I don't know this company at all, but I like utilities in places like India where there's a lot of pricing power because, people are, the grid is growing and everything like that. So I'd actually kind of like this. This is very interesting to me. Nice sales up. Of course, in the utilities, look at that. It's 99% funds. How interesting. I wonder if this is just a recent listing. Azure Power Global Limited, AZRE. It's on the New York. It's on the New York. And look at that. It's got a relative. This is interesting. I don't know this stock at all. We have 28 funds in it. Let's see. Oh, no, let's just check. Okay, 7 out of 9. I'm liking that. Let's look at the 99% funds. I just kind of want to see what funds are in this. Probably some emerging market funds, I suspect. Let's just take a look. Wow, Morgan Stanley, real assets. Wow. Okay, so it's all Morgan Stanley is in this one. Morgan Stanley Institutional Global. Wow, this is infrastructure. Very interesting company. AZRE. I have not heard of this company. But, hey, this is a nice international play. I like this. I like this. I have to do some more research on this one because I can't tell you right off the bat, but I'm going to put India power generation. All right. And I'm going to put an exclamation point because I like that. All right, let's kind of look at the weekly. Well, the weekly's good. I mean, it has a nice ascending chart, so I'm liking that. There's no real place to buy it. That's the big issue here. Yeah, look at this. It's pulled up right nicely. The place to have bought it would have been right about there, 39.47. It's a little extended from that. So you can't really buy this at this time, but this is definitely a watch list. You want to put this on the watch list. I'm going to mark that down. I like this. It's 99% fun. So very, very interesting. There's been a lot of buying. So, very interesting. Very interesting. India-based power producer owns and operates 41 utility scale and commercial rooftop projects. So I guess this is a solar company. Not sure about this, but very interesting. I don't think I would buy this one right away. I'd want to find out a little bit more about it, but I like the fact that it has a very nice chart, and I think it's a watch list, definitely. So that is very interesting. Very interesting. Ah, Mega Homes. You want to see Intel, INTC. INTC for years was the largest cap was the largest cap semiconductor company forever. And you know what? Believe it or not, NVIDIA has taken over that kind of the mantle. It just hasn't been doing that great as of late. Unfortunately, we sort of, and I know this is terrible, but we sort of have this a little bit of a downward trend. So I'm not really that excited about it. Relative strength of 6. We have a little bit of fall off on sales. We still have a ton of funds in it, 35%, by the way, and we have 3,764 funds. So that is very strong when it comes to that. But this checklist just isn't good enough. 5 out of 9. It does not pass the smell test. Here's the thing. I hate to tell you this, but I don't think it's time for Intel right now. Maybe they'll get their mojo back, but right now I don't think the mojo is there right now for Intel. So, wow, that's hard for me to stomach because I normally I've loved Intel for years, and of course everybody's used their products. So, but I can't recommend them. I can't recommend it. What are your thoughts on Live Nation Entertainment? Stay away. Here's the thing. We live in a different world. I wish it was like it was in the 70s or the 60s or whatever. No, I don't really, actually, because I lived through those, and they were very overrated. Very overrated. But, anything live is just going to be tough. Here's the thing I want to tell you about Live Nation. You know what? You should look at Spotify instead. By the way, they're carrying my podcast. SPOT is the symbol on Spotify. Let's kind of take a look at Spotify. It's been selling off a little bit. Not necessarily a buy today, but I think you want to keep this one in your sights if you're interested in kind of the music business. It's got earnings in about 25 days, so you don't want to buy it into earnings like this that close. But there is a buy point on it on a consolidation base at $2.99. This is the kind of company I think you want to be in, as opposed to a Live Nation would be something like Spotify. I think it's a better company, and I think it has potential. Whereas I think that Live Nation, I think their better days have gone. I think their better days have gone. I mean, it's too bad that the Grateful Dead and all those people don't exist anymore, and they're not touring. But it's just, I know that people make money in touring shows, but I don't see it. So Live Nation, I couldn't really give you a thumbs up on. I think if you're going to look at anything, you probably want to look at you probably want to look at Spotify rather than a Live Nation. So, anyways, my 2 cents on that. Okay, and this is a question on Nio. We covered Nio before, so I'm not going to cover that again. GBTC is pretty volatile. Should it be traded for profit? Okay, I think you should trade. You're right about GBTC. Here's the reason that GBTC is so volatile. Because the U.S. and everybody else is printing all this money, something has to go. Something has to give. And I don't think gold is the traditional, the hedge that it used to be. I think Bitcoin is. But the problem with Bitcoin is that it's really not easy. It's going to get easier with Coinbase and people like that, but it really isn't that easy to deal with. I have been increasing my position in GBTC. I've been buying it. There hasn't really been a lot of pullbacks on it, but I've been buying it. The chart is kind of off the charts. Now, it's going to pull back a little bit today. It's up $4.33 today, which is phenomenal. And here's the one thing I want to show you. This is a breakout kind of almost situation. Do you see this? How this is an exponential chart here. This chart is exponential. If you'll notice, if you'll notice that this is only 1,000 here, and this is 13,000 here. So this is not linear. This is exponential. So anything past this red line here is phenomenal. So we've had some huge buying of the GBTC. It's got a 98 relative strength, and look at this breakout. So what does that say? Well, it says that not a lot of people are wanting to sell it at the price that people are willing to pay for it. So it is breaking higher, I'm afraid. So what do I think about GBTC? Well, I think it's a good thing. Is there a good place to buy it? Not really. Not really. I would like to see it pull back to about $26, $30 level, but it's at 39. I don't know if there's any place to buy it right now. I think right now it's sort of tough to buy it, but I like it. GBTC is for how should it be traded so the profits are not lost. Here's what I say about S&A gamers. Is what you got to do is if you buy it and it moves up, you want to push that stop loss up with it. So keep your stop losses tight. So if you're buying it at let's say you're buying it at 40, because that's kind of where it is now. You want to set your stop loss about 2.5% below where you bought it. So you want if you're trading at 40, you want to set your stop loss at about $39 or so, and then if it moves higher, you kind of want to keep that pushing up. When it pulls back, it'll sell you out, but you will retain your profit. So that's really how I think this is one of the best ways to do that is to do it like that, where you're gonna maintain your profit. So if you buy it and it's moving up, push your stop loss up, keep pushing it up, and then if it pulls back, hopefully you'll capture all that great profit. Ali, great question. Any plan for the election results? Will you keep all positions open if the Democrats win and the market craps out? I don't necessarily think that, if the Democrats win, the markets will necessarily all crap out. But I do think that unfortunately, I do think that some stocks will do better than other stocks. I think if the Democrats win, we probably, unfortunately, will be in a war in Syria and probably in about 6 months. Listen, I don't know. I'm not an expert at any of this stuff, but I do know that they definitely are disliking the fact that Trump is pulling his troops out of Afghanistan for some reason. I think it has to do with the military-industrial complex. So if the Democrats do win, I do see that I think you're going to see some of the defense stocks do well, like Lockheed Martin. So I don't know. That's a little cynical. I don't think let's take a wait see attitude. It's just very hard to predict anything like politics. It just really is. It just really is. Okay, question on, let's see, HYFM. Let's look at HYFM real quick to see HYFM and see what we've got out there. If I could, Hydrofarm Holdings Group. I guess this is. I'm not sure. Okay, manufacturers distribute hydroponics. Okay, so this is like Grow Generation. Kind of a similar thing. You know what? I can't really give you probably a good idea. It's too new of stock. It's an IPO. It's just come out, and it's on the way. It just isn't been out there long enough. I typically like to see, on IPOs, I want to see them be out for at least 3 months, and this just doesn't get it in that way. I think that the one that I think Grow Generation is probably better than this one. I don't. This has a relative strength of 53. I just think you got to take a pass on this one. Kyle. I mean, it sounds good, but and it might be good, but I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay, here we go. Can we still buy GBTC? Absolutely, you can. Now, here's the thing about GBTC. Excuse me, golly. Here's the thing about GBTC. The reason it's spiking like this is because I think it's Chase came out with, Chase came out with something like that Bitcoin is going to be, like some incredible number, and this is the way this is the way they're going to trade it. I do think Bitcoin is going up. I mean, it surpassed 23,000. I mean, they're talking like 100,000 of Bitcoin. I don't know if that's going to happen. That seems like a lot to me, but just to be sure, I am buying Bitcoin. Is there a really good time to buy it? Well, it's an ETF. It's exchange traded fund, so it's a little bit difficult to buy this one. It's not like a stock, so you really do want to buy on dips. I can't really give you a good time to buy this one, just because it's gone up so much. I don't think you want to buy it I think you want to buy it as it's pulling back to hopefully But I don't know. I don't know if it's going to pull back that much. I do think if it pulls back to about 36, it does look like it does look like it is going to fail here pretty soon, because I'm looking at the channel. I'm putting the channel markers here, and it does look like we're extended above this. So I definitely kind of expect it to pull back to about 37 or below that. I think if it pulls back to about 37 and then reverses, maybe it pulls back to about 35 and then reverses higher, you want to buy it as it's reversing higher. Now, you could buy it at this level. I just think it's really extended. I just don't know if you want to buy it right now. It's going to pull back. It's definitely going to pull back. I think you want to wait for the pullback, see if there's a reversal, and then when it does, that's when you want to buy it. So right now, I don't think you can buy it. It's just too extended. It's just too extended right now for that. So, goodness. Okay. Great question. A thought on Etsy. Let's see if we can get that up here. ETSY. And I do like this one because I do kind of think, along with a lot of them, sort of this is one of the things is I'm not totally a technical trader. I do believe in fundamentals, but I always like to be in the right industries, the industries that are growing, and definitely Etsy is in that category, because we're not getting rid of online stuff. It's going to get bigger next year. There's just no question. And so companies that help people get into that, that's great. Now, the last buy point on it was a Stage 1 cup at 141. It's at 174 right now. Can we buy this? Well, really the only place to buy this that I can see is about at 162. Now, it looks like it is pulling back. Let's look at the 60-minute chart. Yeah. You see, really where it needs to be bought is right about here at this level here. And we're not quite there, so it seems to be pulling up. So here's the thing. It looks as if it has, there is a lot of buying there. So, good question. Wow, I still like about this 96 relative strength. That is very good. It looks like it is a reversal. Yeah, off the 21-day line. You know what? This is gonna sound crazy, but you could buy it at this level. You absolutely could buy it at this level. Now, let's see. Let's look at the weekly chart to see. Yeah, you definitely could. It looks like it's turned somewhat. Goodness. And it looks like it's going to pull above that 21-day line. So let me see where that 21-day line is. Wow, 175, it's 174. You know what? You could buy it right now. You could buy this one right now. I do think it's going higher. I do think this is going higher. And it may move up all the way up to a level right here. So that is interesting. So yeah, it's definitely buyable. This is totally buyable right now. Yeah, it's 100% checklist. Wow, I'm going to put that down on my list as a buy. I don't know if I'm going to buy that one, but that is a very good stock, and it looks very good. It looks like it has a reversal. Buying off that reversal can be very, 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 very bullish. So, yeah, I love Etsy, and I love it right now. Okay, so, thank you, Kenny. AYRO. Let's look at AYRO. Let's just kind of look at this one. AYRO. To see kind of where, okay, see that one. Okay, and that's, it distributes electric vehicles. Okay, so this is electric vehicle, but this is sort of like the, kind of in the Cushman industry. Cushman's, I don't know if you know old enough to remember that. But what they are is that they're little vehicles that you use around campuses and stuff. Kind of like glorified golf carts with dump trucks and that kind of thing. I don't know. Very interesting. I'm not sure about this. I don't know this company. Yeah, I don't really like this chart. I'd be honest with you. This is a downward trending chart, though it looks like it has bounced, and it's $6.12. I just can't recommend this one. No, 6 out of 9 is acceptable for me for the smell test, and it does have 11. It's just too thinly traded. You know what? I know this sounds like a good idea. Their sales are up. You could watch list this one, but this is a very thin stock, Caddy. This is a very, very thin stock. I don't think you want this one. You might want to watch list it. I don't even think you really want to watch this one. I think you got to pass on this one right now, just based on the chart. So, okay, let's look at Redfin. RDFN is the symbol for Redfin. RDFN, and the thing about Redfin, of course, they're in the competition with with Zillow and some of the other real estate sites. They're doing well. I mean, they're very doing well. So let's kind of analyze the chart to see if there's anything there that we can kind of sink our teeth into. It's up today, $69. It's up 37 cents. And on the weekly chart, let's look. Okay, so we have a 96, so that's good. It looks like we do have some good buying here as of late. And we were off a little bit. The number wasn't as good as it could have been. The sales are off a little bit. Does have increasing fund ownership. I do like that. Still in a loss position, but this is a growth company, and 63% of the company is owned by funds. Let's look at the checklist. 6 out of 9, that's acceptable. And the ownership on the funds is very, very good. Let's see if we can find any really good funds in there. And everyone, the reason I'm looking for funds is because typically it's not us retail investors that push the stock up. It's demand from the funds that really do it. So I'm always looking to make sure that in many of the stocks that I'm buying, that there's increasing fund ownership. And this is Lord Abbott Development Growth. This is one of the best stock picking funds out there. So this is a very, very strong recommendation for this. So everything kind of looks good there. Now the question is, can we buy this and where can we buy this? Let's look at the daily chart to see. They're really, okay, so basically, interestingly enough, yes, this is a reversal. This is a classic reversal, by the way. This is sort of an extended cup with handle. There was a cup, but then it moved up, and there was a supply issue. But it looks as if it's pulled back, and now it's bounced off the 21-day line. This is actually a very good place to buy it. To be honest, let's look at the 60-minute chart to see if there's anything tactically. Okay, yeah, it seems like there is sort of this resistance at about 70. Where would I buy this? Well, if this thing moved above about 72, that's probably where I would buy it. We're very close to that. I wouldn't buy this necessarily until I saw a little bit more conviction, because we're just right above the 21-day line. That's good, but I want to watch this thing. I'd like to watch this thing because it needs really to pull above, I believe, about there, and that is approximately about 72.50. So we're very close to being actionable. I really like Redfin. I think it's a great stock, and if it pulls above about 72.50, I think that you might have a really, really good really good opportunity there. So interesting. So let's look back at TikTok. Good, everybody. I'm doing great, by the way. I just thought I would say that. I was reading off the. Unfortunately, you can't see the TikTok feed. Okay. Oh gosh, this is one I haven't done in a long time. Let's see if just so I can kind of kind of show you, for fun. See if I can put that on there. Yeah, I can share this. This is the feed that I'm looking at. So as you can see, Gush is what it's what we want to we want to look at. So this is my TikTok feed here. I just want to show you this is the TikTok feed, and it doesn't always come up in the window. So let's get back to Gush and see if I can give you something there. And that's GUSH. GUSH. I don't think this is going to, yeah. This is okay. This is an ETF. It's a bull fund in the oil sector. And I just, right now, I just can't get excited about it. This is just not the way to go, unfortunately. This is the weekly fund. The weekly. Let's look at the monthly, kind of get the overall direction. This is just terrible. It's just not anything you want to get involved with, unfortunately. It's got a downward trend. Now it has bounced, and it does have a relative strength of 70, which is actually pretty good considering everything. But I just can't get really excited about this right now. I just it is up a little bit. There is some buying here, but I just don't think you want to be in this. I don't think you want to be in Gush, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think you want to be in Gush. Hard to say. Hard to say. Wow. Okay. Hey, John. Fantastic. Not the time to sell. Keep it. You're keeping your profits from Tesla, man. I wish I've been in and out of Tesla quite a few times since December of last year. I mean, I think I must have bought and sold it about 20 times, but it was absolutely my best stock last year, and that is tremendous. Congratulations. Just keep on holding it. I think it could even go higher. I know that's hard to believe, but I think it could go absolutely higher. Unbelievable. Let's look at LSPD to see what's going on. LSPD. All right. There we go. That's Lightspeed. Okay. Well, it's a Canada-based company. Nice. Point of sale software. Yeah, I don't know. Brad, I'm not sure. It's got a very strong relative strength. 95 is excellent. And we have nice funds in it. I'm liking that. Got nice sales increases. That's definitely what you want to look for. The question is it the best of the breed? It's a relatively new company. It's okay, but I think what you want to do on this one, I mean, this is a good company. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is a good company, but I want to check out some of its competition. Primarily Verifone, because Verifone is sort of the gold standard in this space, and this is the chart of Verifone here. So let's look to see let's look at the monthly chart for Verifone. Just kind of get a 20,000 foot view. Okay, well there you go. Weekly chart looks like it's good. I do like the payment companies. 99 relative strength. You know what? Instead of Lightspeed, I think that you might want to consider Verifone, because it is a bigger company, and it sort of has a, it's very strong. Veritone, it's very strong in the payment space. It's pulling back a little bit, but it looks like it may come off the. So I definitely think that definitely LSPD does have legs, but it's relatively thin. So I would consider possibly an alternative on this symbol VERI. That's Veritone. A little bit higher relative strength. Well, I'm almost to the hour, and I'm almost to the hour. And I didn't get to everybody's questions, and I apologize. I'd like to get to everybody's questions here. If you'd like to sign up for the Action Trade Alerts, you can go to the website, or if you're watching on TikTok, it's super easy to do it. if you're watching on TikTok, just go to my profile, hit the link, and then it says sign up for Action Trade Alerts, and it's super easy to do as well. I will be back tomorrow on Dallas Trading Floor. Hopefully, if you could subscribe to my website, that would be great. On YouTube, it's youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. And also, if you are looking for the watch list, I should have the link to the watch list up hopefully here tonight. I've been behind a little bit on the email, so thanks for bearing with me. And I'm going to probably try to do a chart school on how to buy with the buy stop limit again. Anyways, until tomorrow, happy trading. And oh, wait a minute, we have one last question. Let's see. Thank you for being patient. Okay. Thank you for being patient with me. And I will see you tomorrow at 2:30 Central. Until then, happy trading.